All right, so I'm reaching out to one of our newest teachers, Brian Butler, who's going to be teaching in our new class, Exploring. So I'm calling Brian. Brian, you're down there in Miami.
Yeah, I'm in beautiful Miami. It's spring break down here.
Really? Excellent.
And I don't know if it's excellent, but it's part of it. It's part of living down here. It's the price I pay for living in a place beautiful.
That's true. Yeah, I live in the middle of a college campus too, and it's beautiful and quiet right now. So they've all probably gone down to Miami to see you.
That's true. Yeah.
Excellent. So where are we right now? Where are you? This is your studio, I gather? That's
It's my apartment slash studio with a bunch of records and books.
right. So you've just come back from South by Southwest, the music festival. Tell us a little bit about what that was like and what you did there.
That was an interesting thing. I was out there for a week. I flew down to Austin, Texas for South by Southwest to catch a bunch of music showcases. It's good to show face out there for what I do because I just like to kind of find vehicles to introduce drawing or use drawing as a vehicle to introduce myself to just different facets of the world. So one facet that I really have interest in is music. So by going out to these concerts, I probably went to maybe 40 concerts over the duration of that week. Um, I would record them in my sketchbook. I would do illustrations of each one by virtue of being some guy who's really tall and skinny, sticking out of a crowd with a sketchbook. Um, I'd have a lot of conversations with folks, and that would turn into like, oh, we manage this band, and maybe we should do a thing. Or I have this venue in Australia, maybe we should do a thing. Um,
So yeah, so just to explain to people what you do, you literally stand in the middle of the crowd with your sketchbook and you draw. What are you drawing when you're there?
I'm drawing. In fact, I have it with me. This is the official South by Southwest sketchbook. It was donated by my friends at 59stateparks.com. They have, in fact, the guy who donated it. Oh, there's a secret wall sticker too. Uh, so the guy who donated the sketchbook does like a poster thing, and I was staying on his couch. But so like I'll stand in the audience, and we'll get stuff like this. Um, this is a band called Sleigh Bells. This is a band called Paris, and I'll just be out there, taking in the sights and seeing who we see there. There's some more drawings from the following day's event. That was at a venue called the Mohawk, which is sort of one of the staple venues out there. So that was actually, in fact, right at the bottom there. Those are the friends from the UK, Muncie Girls. These three right here. Then this is an artist named No Name, who's basically poised to be kind of the next big thing. And I suppose that's why people go to South by Southwest, is to kind of figure out who's going to be the next big thing, or who's going to get picked up to record or signed or whatever.
Tell us a bit about your sketchbook. I mean, you always have a sketchbook with you. You churn through a lot of them, right?
You bet. In fact, the sketchbook that I brought to Texas is pretty much full. Like I think I ended like it. Granted, it was like a smaller one, but like wow, uh, that much. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I have like 4 blank pages left in this thing. Um, yeah, there's a lot going on in there.
And tell us a bit about like what are your sketchbooks? I mean, in that case, you're recording your experience, but in the class, you share some amazing sketchbooks and I saw just all the different kinds of things that you do with your sketchbooks, where they're not just recordings, but they're your lab and lots of other
Oh,
stuff.
sure. Yeah. I mean, it's that testing ground. You nailed it by calling it a lab because, frankly, it's just that place that you can kind of experiment and not have any critical eyeballs on it or anything. So before I get a project, I'll try and work through different typographical ideas in the sketchbook, or I'll try and work through kind of what like the meat and potatoes concept of a project is, and then kind of develop it from there outside of the sketchbook.
Right, because your sketchbooks had ideas for logos. They had road signs from when you were going on a road trip. They had weird characters that you'd made up.
Sure, like many of those things are really responsive to either a project that I'm working on or just things in my immediate environment. So like I try to position myself uh, as a traveling artist. So by virtue of just bouncing around a lot, I'm seeing a lot of things that I take interest in, be it typography or strange mascots for food chains I've never heard of, or musicians or whatever. Yeah.
I think what people will learn from your course, one among the many things that they'll learn, is just the way that you use your imagination. I mean, it felt like there were so many different kinds of ideas pouring out of you, and also you draw so fast. I mean, you just knock out drawings. I think that's because you draw so much is part of the reason. But
That's likely.
I mean, seem to spend hours a day drawing, but also your life is so full and you have so many interesting experiences. And I think that's just really, really great and really inspiring to be around and to see. So I think people are going to have a great time at your course. Tell me, did you have fun? We spent a few days together in Los Angeles filming. Was it a fun experience for you?
Yeah, you bet it was. It was sort of high pressure because the wall that we initially anticipated practicing on ended up growing in size by about 6 times. But with that being said, it was a great experience, and you and Jack and the team and everyone were wonderful. I mean, we had some great conversations, and you got to watch me sweat out a mural.
It was really fun. I mean, I remember when we first got there and I saw the size of the mural, and then I thought you were going to be able to get one of those scissor lifts that would like push you around and allow you to position yourself. But then,
Yeah, we both thought that.
but then when you said that you were going to do it on a ladder, I thought, okay, this is going to either be a complete disaster or some kind of horrible accident's going to happen, like you're going to fall, or I could not imagine that you could do that, and yet you did. You were clambering up and down that ladder for a couple of days. It was wild.
Yeah, less is more.
I mean, in a way, it was good for us because we got to see much more of the mural, but surely that was daunting on some level to say.
Yeah, you bet. I mean, luckily we had those allies at Start Los Angeles, which are the space that provided us the wall and everything, and they were able to finagle a ladder for us, and we took it from there. But honestly, the thing that the biggest variable from my perspective was just because we were doing art in a public place, the biggest variable I think was the public. So like I didn't know how it was going to be perceived by people, or if people were going to. I mean, we were in Los Angeles, right? So everyone's a movie star. I didn't know if people were going to try and come up to the camera and pitch their next TV show or something.
It's true. Also, I think we were doing. I mean you, were doing a mural about that neighborhood. And so this is an interesting neighborhood called Harvard Heights, and we went around and found out, I mean, the travelogue part of this class is really interesting. We just traveled around this neighborhood, and you told us all about it, and it has fantastic history, really great characters, Marvin Gaye. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been visiting that neighborhood in particular in Los Angeles for I guess a couple of years now, and yeah, so the history has sort of always been like kind of a pillar thing that I've leaned on, and then in addition to that, just that idea of kind of celebrating a neighborhood with a big mural in it just seems cohesive, and if we did get some weird, strange variable where someone's coming up and giving us a hard time about painting, at least we could kind of justify it.
Yeah, in fact, quite the contrary. People came up and were really excited by it, were asking questions about it, really admired you, and like calling you a rock star of the spray can. I mean, people really, and there were people who were also muralists who came up who had heard that you were doing this. So it was just really like an event. I think you're doing this. It was the biggest thing we've ever done with Sketchbook School in terms of a big shoot, and just bringing in people is awesome.
It was ambitious.
It's true, but you pulled it off, and I think it's going to be such a different class for us than anything we've done before, in some ways, because you're going out and doing a mural, and all the other kinds of things that you do are new to Sketchbook School. But I think at its core, it's very much of a Sketchbook School experience, because it's about your sketchbook, about living in your sketchbook, about all the different ways you can use it, how you can use it to solve problems, to create solutions, to express yourself, to experiment, and you do all of that and more. And also you show us all the different ways to take the things in your sketchbook and to use them to make other stuff, which I think is really cool too.
Yeah, in this instance, it was a mural.
But tell us about some of the other stuff that you make out of your sketchbook.
Yikes. I mean, it's case by case really. So like I've been doing like merchandise since I was a kid. Like I learned how to silk screen in like high school. So like uh, that taught me to kind of think in terms of like layers and considering, you know, like I need, if I'm printing on a black t-shirt, I need to put down a layer of white first, and then on top of that I can build the rest of this idea, because the ink is kind of translucent. If I put a blue directly on the black, then it wouldn't show up. Anyway, it just um, I guess the more experiences you have in real life, the more you take back to the sketchbook too. So like by having that experience of like learning how to you know, silkscreen and stuff like that, I can work out ideas in my sketchbook, and then kind of be able to reverse engineer how to actually make it work as a T-shirt, or reverse engineer a way to you know, make it work as a mug or something like that. Or I remember growing up at the mall kiosks. They'd have like those like little photo kiosks because everyone didn't have a camera on their phone. So like there'd be like a photo kiosk, and you could put a picture of yourself on a mug or a mouse pad or something like that. And I just remember seeing those and trying to think of ways to um, make it a vehicle for like, oh, I don't have access to mouse pads, but I bet if I gave them a drawing that I did, we could take a photo of the drawing, and then we could make a mouse pad out of a drawing or something. Like it just stupid stuff like that, where um, just seeing things around and just trying to figure out ways to manipulate the circumstances to actually turn into something a little bit more favorable than what they thought. Life hacking it, if you will.
Life hacking it. Mouse pads. Talk about like an archaic technology, like it'll be in a museum soon. But also, you make T-shirts, you make zines, you make posters, you know, you do so many things.
I feel like a lot of those things just revolve around documentation. So like most of the zines that I've like put out into the world have been a reflection of like a trip that I've gone on, or like, or actually it's a mixture of like half of them are probably some reflection of like a event or trip that I've gone on, and some of them are just excuses to collaborate with people. So there's a lot of instances where I'll come up with a theme and then invite my friends to illustrate that theme alongside me, and then we'll just make a little survey of whatever the dumb theme is.
Right, because you're going to show us some of the zines that you've done with just crazy ideas that you've asked lots of people to participate in, and they become these cool mashups that are really fun. So good, excellent. Well, we all look forward to seeing you in class, to learning more about it. You know, for those who don't know, we're going to be adding a special feature where you're going to get to ask Brian questions during his week of teaching, and you can ask him directly. We're going to do a little chat like this, so your questions will be there live, and Brian will be answering them, and it's going to be really fun. So thanks again for participating in this. I know you're not a teacher, you're a traveling artist, but you have so much to teach us, and we have a lot to learn from you. So thanks so much for being part of this.
Thank you. I appreciate the invitation.
You bet. Okay. All right, cool.